This was when I was in high school. A trio of friends decided to go to an abandoned hospital near their school called the Old City Central Hospital, which is rumored to be haunted. As the name implies, 20 years ago, the Old City Central Hospital was accepting various patients as a city central hospital, but the hospital was shut down due to dilapidation. Then a few buyers came along, but for some reason, misfortune struck, and the story always faltered. Most of the city's citizens were aware of the rumor, and together with its appearance, it was called the Haunted Hospital. I took my father's latest video camera from home and met my friends at midnight in front of the abandoned hospital. The three of them weren't psychic, and they weren't the type to be scared of ghosts, so they weren't scared at all, even in the middle of the night in an abandoned hospital where normal people would be scared to look. More than that, I was excited to see if I was really scared or what would come out of it. Unfortunately, there was no moonlight that day, so I had to rely only on my flashlight. I decided to take a look around the hospital while filming the video. There were several examination rooms from the reception on the first floor, and on the second floor there were several rooms that were wards. It's true, I thought it might be a creepy atmosphere for a normal person, but I didn't feel much of a scare. More than that, the window glass was broken and the breeze outside was coming in, which was quite pleasant. All the doors were left open and inside was open to the public, but nothing of particular interest. When I went to the third floor, it was a ward in the same way, but when I went to the far end, it said operating room and the door was closed. We were intrigued by the only operating room with a closed door and excitedly decided to go inside to see if we could find any goodies. The door to the operating room was heavy and hard to open because it was rusty, but with the help of the three of us, we were able to open the heavy door. The three of them were thrilled to be in an operating room that was hard to get into. I walked into the operating room with the camera in one hand, and the other two raised their hands mimicking the doctor. Excuse me. The old operating room was littered with medical records that I believe belonged to an old patient, in addition to a worn-out operating table. It was disappointing, especially since there was nothing more like a treasure trove. We took one of the cleanest things from the scattered medical records and put it away in our bag. Goodbye, ghost. Hey, shut up. So I left the operating room, went back downstairs, and left the hospital. It was nothing like I thought it would be. It's boring, but it's a good way to pass the time. On the way home, we decided to see if there were any ghosts or anything on the video we'd taken over a snack. So we headed over to my house, where my parents were on vacation and nobody was home. On the way home, I grabbed some food at a convenience store. I played the video and enjoyed watching the images being projected as the three of us chatted. I was depressed that I couldn't get a psychic video that easily, because there was no ghostly thing on the video. But when we got to the operating room scene on the third floor, excuse me, it was at that very moment that my voice, which had been recorded, was played back. Come on. We looked at each other. The voice of a man who clearly wasn't us coming in. The camera shows the inside of the operating room, but it also records voices that aren't ours. That patient can still be helped. No, maybe not anymore. It's not an idle ear. The man's voice is definitely being recorded. Our faces were turning pale by the minute. When I picked up the medical records I had brought home, the images were jumbled. I've never been so disturbed before. I felt a chill run down my spine, wondering if I'd brought something bad with me. Wait. This time his voice was lower, brooding, and aggressive than it had ever been. And then suddenly, the phone in my room started ringing. We looked at each other and then we cautiously answered the phone. We heard the voice of the man on the video. Hello, this is City Central Hospital. Could you please return the medical records you took home?